Zombie and Brains Are Friends by S.V.W. Lucianovic and Cham. Brains are food, not pets. Zeb comes from a family of farmers, zombie farmers. Each week they pickle, bake, fry, and sell their grain-fed, free-range brains to be enjoyed by the masses until one day, the tiniest, pinkest, squishiest brain Zeb ever did see hops right into his arms. Can he convince his parents that his brainy bestie is better off as the family pet and not family dinner? To Kelly and Liam, they are the best brains of all. SL. To all the little brains out there, stay squishy. Zeb lived on a farm. His family raised brains. Grain-fed, free-range brains, to be specific. See the brains out in the field? They pickled them, baked them, and fried them. Ate them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And what they didn't need was taken into town to be sold at the farmer's market. Zeb's family raised the best brains in the entire county. See, there they are at the farmer's market. On a Saturday morning, Zeb was doing his farm chores when one of the brain stems started twitching. And before Zeb even knew what was happening, a brand new baby brain tumbled right into his arms. Zeb had never seen a brain being born before, and he had definitely never held a newborn brain. He was astounded. He knew brains were pink and squishy, but he didn't know they could be this pink and this squishy. He felt a funny little flutter in his heart. Zeb stroked the squirmy brain's cerebellum. I will take care of you. I will love you, and I will name you Brain, he whispered. Hello, Brain. In response, Brain nuzzled himself deeper into Zeb's arms and buzzed with delight. But Zeb took Brian inside the farmhouse to show his parents. They were quick to remind him, brains are food, not pets. Zeb begged and pleaded and promised and moaned for many days and nights. And Brian did his best to look extra cute while staying far away from the kitchen. Finally, his parents gave in. They needed their sleep. Zeb and Brian couldn't have been happier. Zeb took very good care of Brian. He fed him plenty of brain food, made sure he got lots of exercise, and on the coldest nights, Zeb snuggled Brian under his covers to keep him from getting brain freeze. Every day, Zeb told Brian he was the best, smartest brain in the entire world. And every day, Brian showed Zeb how much he loved him. One night, Zeb woke up to discover that Brian wasn't curled up in his usual place on Zeb's pillow. And he wasn't anywhere in Zeb's bedroom either. Then he heard it. Pots banging and silverware rattling, the refrigerator door opening and closing. And what was that oven clicking on? And was that the oven clicking on? Zeb hurried to the kitchen and spied Brian sitting right in the middle of the dinner table. Just as he was about to walk in and coax Brian back to bed, Zeb heard his dad's voice from the pantry. Okay, Brian, I'm going to make you a midnight snack now. Zeb clapped his hands over his mouth. Oh my Zod, his dad was about to eat and cook Brian. Before his dad could return to the kitchen with his blue ribbon-winning 11 tea herbs and spices rub, Zeb snatched his little brain from the table, and together they ran out into the night. As the moon shone down on them, Zeb and Brian speed shambled down the road until they were far, far away from the farm. and far, far away from Zeb's dad's hungry mouth. Finally, they came to a large green field where wild brains roamed. Kneeling down, Zeb hugged Brian tight and scratched him behind the left lobe just the way he liked it. "You will always be my favorite brain," Zeb told Brian, "but I love you too much to let anyone eat you." With a sniff, Zeb let Brian go. But Brian didn't want to leave his zombie boy's side. Zeb finally gave the brain a little nudge and said, "Please, it's the only way I can save you." The next morning, there was no breakfast. No Brian nuzzling Zeb's feet at breakfast. No Brian jumping up on the couch to help Mom with her jigsaw puzzle. No Brian burrowing into the piles of clean laundry Dad took off the line. Zeb's house felt very empty. When Zeb's parents asked him where the little brain was, and Zeb explained, Zeb's dad felt terrible. "I was going to feed him a midnight snack, not make him mine." They had to bring Brian home again. Dad posted missing brain flyers all over town. Mom searched their neighbors' kitchens. And Zeb stood on the porch at night and crinkled the Zombie Times' toughest crosswords, hoping Brian might hear and come scampering home. But still, no sign of Brian. Until early one Saturday morning, Zeb was about to start his chores when he felt a very familiar and very squishy nudge at his ankles. Brian had found his way home. Zeb swept Brian up in his arms and squeezed him tight against his chest. Brian buzzed so hard he vibrated with brain waves of happiness. He really was a very smart brain. Zeb's parents were so happy to have Brian back that Mom bought him a brand new stack of brain teasers. And Dad announced that Brian was far too clever to ever be anyone's midnight snack. After that, Zeb and Brian spent their days cuddling and playing, and everything went pretty much back to normal. Mostly. Do not feed on. The end.